At St. George's Chapel, the nation wept. A monarch was laid to rest. But behind the solemn hymns and royal tributes, a storm was silently gathering. Queen Camilla, now the Queen Dowager, acted swiftly, too swiftly. Within hours, she ordered a purge at Clarence House. Files vanished. Archives were sealed. Her steely gaze betrayed a single truth: this was no time to grieve. It was time to consolidate power. But Camilla's cold calculation missed one thing. Catherine, the new queen, resolute, perceptive, and watching. In the dim silence of the royal residence, Queen Catherine uncovered a letter, King Charles's final warning. It wasn't meant for the public, nor even his sons. It was written in haste with trembling hands and addressed to the one person he trusted above all, Princess Anne, his iron-willed sister. The contents, a veiled reference to betrayal, a plea to guard the crown. As loyalties fracture and the line between duty and ambition begins to blur, Catherine and Anne form an unlikely alliance, their mission to defend the throne from within the palace walls. But where will the letter lead them? What dark maze of deception are they stepping into? And in the shadows of Windsor, who truly holds the power? One letter. Two women. And a secret that could shake the monarchy to its core. The sky over Windsor hangs heavy with gray clouds, as if nature itself mourns, alongside a nation bidding farewell to King Charles III. St. George's Chapel, its ancient stone walls weathered by centuries, stands solemn amid the hushed reverence, a silent witness to history. The king's coffin, draped in the vibrant Union Jack, interwoven with the gold-embroidered royal standard, is carried slowly through the main gates. The rhythmic creak of wooden wheels on stone blends with the mournful whistle of wind through drooping flags, crafting a haunting symphony of grief. Outside, a sea of mourners, from ordinary citizens in simple coats to dignitaries in formal black stands in silence, heads bowed. No cheers, no whispers, only a weighty stillness, as if all of England holds its breath to honor their fallen king. Camilla, Charles's widow, emerges from a side entrance of the chapel, her slender frame unyielding. Her black gown clings to her, a veiled hat obscuring half her face, revealing no trace of emotion. Her eyes are dry, devoid of tears, only a piercing stare that sweeps the crowd, daring anyone to challenge her. Each step she takes is deliberate, a silent proclamation: I am still here, and I will not yield. The public, though softened toward her over years of controversy, cannot erase memories of past scandals, the vicious headlines, the whispers of the woman who broke Diana's happiness. Their gazes follow Camilla not with the reverence owed a queen, but with curiosity tinged with suspicion, as if awaiting her misstep. Then William appears, a gust of clarity cutting through the stifling air. He strides from the main entrance, following his father's coffin, his tall frame commanding in a dark tailored coat. The garment accentuates his regal bearing, but his eyes carry the heavy burden of grief, a son mourning his father, a man aware of the immense weight now on his shoulders. Yet within that sorrow glints an unyielding resolve, the steel of a leader facing a historic crossroads. As he pauses, his gaze sweeping the ceremonial balcony, where royals, world leaders, and global power brokers stand, the crowd senses an unspoken shift. No crown, no proclamation yet. William is already king in their hearts. Behind the scenes at Clarence House, the late king's private residence with Camilla, the mood is starkly different. A small circle of trusted advisors gathers in the main drawing room, its heavy red velvet curtains drawn to block the daylight. Camilla, fresh from the chapel, removes her veiled hat and sinks into a leather armchair, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. The stoic facade she wore in public falters, replaced by a barely concealed tension. Her voice, low but razor-sharp, carries an undeniable command: seal Clarence House. All old irrelevant papers must be destroyed immediately. A young advisor newly appointed to Camilla's team hesitates, his voice tinged with unease. "Ma'am, should we review them first? Some documents may relate to the Royal Trust's operations, or—" Camilla cuts him off, her eyes like daggers. "I said destroy them. Do it now. No one dares argue." The order is issued swiftly, discreetly, as if she aims to erase Charles's legacy before anyone can notice. The advisors disperse to carry out her command, but none dare question why Camilla is in such a hurry. Kate, standing in the corner of the room, watches it all unfold. As the future queen consort, she's been tasked with overseeing post-funeral arrangements, a ceremonial role that also grants her a front-row seat to Camilla's maneuvers. Her eyes never leave the widow, though her face remains a mask of perfect calm. Something in Camilla's tone and the urgency of her destroy the papers edict stirs unease in Kate. What is Camilla hiding? She wonders, her fingers instinctively tightening around the small clutch she carries. As Camilla exits the room, her gaze briefly meets Kate's, as if noticing her for the first time. For a fleeting moment, the two women lock eyes, wordless, but charged with meaning. Kate offers a polite, icy smile. Camilla nods in return, but her eyes flicker with wariness. The moment passes quickly, but it leaves Kate with a chilling certainty their silent war has begun. Stepping out of Clarence's house, Kate's breath mingles with the crisp afternoon air. The crowds outside St. George's Chapel have dispersed, but the distant toll of church bells echoes a reminder of the duty she now bears. She tilts her head to the gray sky, her eyes narrowing, and vows silently, "In the days ahead, I will find answers, no matter the cost." Late at night, Clarence's house lies cloaked in darkness, save for the faint glow of the main corridor. Kate moves silently through rooms adorned with ancient portraits and oak furniture, each step calculated to avoid the slightest sound. She secured permission to collect Charles's personal effects for the National Museum, a flawless pretext no one questions. The new queen consort, with her poised elegance and devotion, is trusted by both the public and the palace. But inwardly, Kate knows she's stepping into a dangerous game where a single misstep could reshape the monarchy's future. She pauses before a massive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II in Charles's private study. The late queen's stern gaze seems to track Kate's every move. Taking a deep breath, Kate reaches for the frame. Charles once mentioned a hidden safe, a vault for his most critical documents. For emergencies only, he'd set his tone heavy with implication. Kate isn't certain if he foresaw this day, but her instincts scream that she must find it. After minutes of searching, she discovers a small slot behind the frame. A soft click echoes as she presses it, revealing a compact safe secured by a code. Kate tries several combinations: Charles's birth date, William's, then Queen Elizabeth's. Finally, the correct code is Charles's coronation day. He lived for the throne. Kate thinks, a pang of sadness rising within her. Under the dim light of Clarence's house's study, Kate stands before the now open safe, her heart pounding like a war drum. Inside lies a solitary envelope, its creamy, luxurious paper sealed with red royal wax, bearing the crown's emblem. In Charles's elegant yet urgent handwriting, the inscription reads, "To be opened by HRH the Princess Royal in case of unexpected passing." The words "with HRH the Princess Royal." Princess Anne's official title strike Kate like a blade, a stark reminder that this secret was not meant for her. This is Charles's final wish, penned for the sister he trusted most, renowned for her unyielding resolve and unwavering loyalty to the crown. A chill races down Kate's spine. Anne, she thinks, the only one Charles trusted in his final hours. The inscription isn't just a directive, it's a window into the mind of a king haunted by betrayal. Kate's trembling fingers brush the wax seal, feeling its cold surface. She hesitates, her breath heavy. This is Charles's secret, entrusted to Anne, not her. Opening it would defy the late king's wishes, risking unforeseen consequences. Yet if she doesn't, she'll remain in the dark, never knowing what Camilla is concealing or what Charles feared. The memory of Camilla's cold stare and her order to destroy the papers flashes in Kate's mind, pushing her past her fear. With steely resolve, Kate tightens her grip, her nails digging into her palm. "I have to know," she tells herself, her inner voice as hard as iron. She takes a deep breath, then snaps the wax seal, the sharp crack piercing the silent room. Opening the envelope, her heart still racing, she pulls out the letter where Charles's words wait to unveil a secret that could change everything. Charles's handwritten letter unfolds, his script shaky but clear in, "If I depart suddenly, no one needs to replace me as king. The law is clear. But the throne is more than a crown. It's a system vulnerable when hearts waver. William is my son, but his heart can be swayed. Camilla, I'm no longer certain she acts for the monarchy's honor or her own power. You are the only one with the reason, discipline, and loyalty to the crown. Protect it until all is secure." Charles R. Kate freezes her breath, caught in her chest. The letter not only exposes Charles's distrust of Camilla, but also his deep fear that William and Kate herself are being manipulated. So he trusted no one but Anne, she thinks, the words echoing like a warning from beyond the grave. Charles, ever composed in public, had lived in dread of his legacy's collapse. Clutching the letter, Kate's mind races. If this letter were revealed, Camilla's influence would crumble. The press would tear her apart, branding her a traitor to the throne. But it would also cast suspicion on William and Kate. The public would wonder if Charles doubted his own son. Is William fit to be king? And who is Kate in this chess game? Kate wavers. Part of her wants to rush the letter to Anne, letting Charles's trusted sister decide. But a deeper instinct urges her to keep it secret, at least until she unravels Camilla's true intentions. With trembling hands, Kate snaps a photo of the letter with her phone, then carefully makes a photocopy using the study's printer. She tucks the original into a hidden compartment in her clutch where no one will find it. This letter, she decides, is her weapon, but she doesn't yet know when to wield it. Leaving Clarence House, Kate glances back at Queen Elizabeth's portrait. The late Queen's eyes seem to warn, "Be careful, Catherine. The throne never forgives naivety." Taking a deep breath, she steps into the night carrying a secret that could reshape the monarchy. A week after King Charles III's funeral, Buckingham Palace remains steeped in a gloom as heavy as the gray skies outside. In the Grand Council chamber, crystal chandeliers cast light on tense faces. Royal senior advisors and government officials sit around a long oak table, a stage for decisions that have shaped British history. Camilla, as the king's widow, stands at the head, her simple black dress exuding authority. Her eyes scan the room, lingering on Kate for a moment before she speaks. With no specific instructions left by the king, Camilla declares, her voice low, but cutting, each word meticulously chosen. "I will continue my honorary roles in the Royal Council and the Royal Trust Board. This is the best way to ensure stability during this transition." She offers a faint smile, cold and devoid of warmth. Some advisors nod in agreement, but the room's tension lingers. Everyone knows Camilla, though no longer queen, wields significant influence, and she has no intention of relinquishing it. Kate, seated opposite, feels a surge of anger. She's stayed silent too long, watching Camilla's moves since the funeral. The destroy the papers order at Clarence House, the haste with which Camilla consolidates power, all point to something hidden. The letter, safely tucked in Kate's clutch, burns like a smoldering ember in her chest. She can't let Camilla's manipulation continue. Rising, her hands resting lightly on the table, Kate's voice is calm but sharp as a blade. "The late king wrote a letter assigning temporary oversight to Princess Anne. That letter was never delivered to its intended recipient." The room falls silent. All eyes shift to Kate, then to Camilla. Camilla's face pales for a split second before her icy composure returns. Her lips tighten, and she responds, her tone even, but laced with defiance. "I've never seen such a letter. And if it exists, it's merely a personal sentiment, no legal weight." She emphasizes legal as a reminder that in the eyes of the law, she remains the king's widow, while Kate, though the new queen consort, lacks her entrenched network of power. William, seated between them, says nothing. His head is bowed, his eyes flickering between his wife and stepmother. His heart is torn. Loyalty to Kate, who has stood by him through every storm, clashes with deference to Camilla, who supported his father in his final years. His silence stabs at Kate, a sharp pang of betrayal. She needs him to speak, to stand with her, but William remains still, a statue in the eye of the storm. Anne, at the far end of the table, observes everything. Her eyes sharp as a hawk's, miss nothing, the fleeting panic in Camilla's face, the resolve in Kate's voice, William's hesitation. But Anne stays silent. She knows in moments like these, silence is the most potent weapon. The meeting ends in heavy unease, with no one daring to press further. As Kate leaves the chamber, she senses a shift. The once warm, friendly glances in Buckingham's corridors now carry caution. Some advisors whisper as she passes, and a longtime palace staffer avoids her gaze. Camilla has begun her counteroffensive, sowing seeds of doubt. Kate's fists clench, the realization hitting hard. "She's faster than I thought." But Kate is no pushover. Charles' letter is her ace, and she'll play it when the moment is right. 2 days later, Kate drives to Gatcombe Park, Princess Anne's residence in Gloucestershire. A light drizzle cloaks the green fields in mist. Stepping into the house, Kate finds Anne waiting in a cozy room, a fire crackling in the hearth. The walls lined with family photos and mementos from Queen Elizabeth II's era remind Kate of the legacy she's tasked to protect. Anne, in simple yet commanding attire, gestures for Kate to sit. No pleasantries, Anne cuts to the chase. Kate pulls the photocopied letter from her clutch and places it before Anne. "This is what I found in Charles's safe," she says, her voice steady but resolute. Anne scans the letter, her expression unreadable. When she finishes, she folds it, sets it on the table, and meets Kate's gaze. "Charles was weak around Camilla," Anne says, her voice like waves crashing on rock. But he wasn't foolish. I think he knew he was being watched. Kate's hands tighten, her nails biting into her palms. "We have to make it public. If Camilla keeps manipulating the royal council, she'll destroy everything Charles built." Anne shakes her head, her eyes piercing. "And let the press tear the family apart." "No, releasing the letter now will only cost William public support. Camilla will spin it as internal strife, and we'll be the losers." She pauses, staring into the fire. "But we can use it at the right moment." Kate nods, though unease churns within her. She knows Anne is right. Patience is key, but each day strengthens Camilla's grip. Anne, with her decades of experience and credibility, begins to act. She quietly contacts ceremonial council members who still revere her for her tireless dedication to the crown. She also meets with senior military officers, where her influence as the Iron Princess remains strong. These meetings are discreet, leaving no trace. Meanwhile, Kate secretly reaches out to Charles's former advisors, sidelined by Camilla after his death. A seasoned lawyer named Sir Edward reveals that Camilla has been funneling royal trust assets into obscure accounts. "She's preparing an exit," Sir Edward whispers over the phone. "But she won't leave empty-handed. She wants power." But Camilla's no fool. At Clarence House, a loyal security officer reports that the safe behind Queen Elizabeth's portrait was accessed. Hearing this, Camilla feels her blood run cold. The letter, Charles's greatest secret, has been taken. She orders an immediate investigation of Clarence House, from security footage to entry logs. A trusted aide who stood by her during her most vilified days delivers chilling news: Princess Anne is meeting with Queen Elizabeth's former security chiefs. They call her the Crown's last guardian. Panic grips Camilla, but she's not one to wait for defeat. In Clarence House's dimly lit study, she summons her closest advisors and issues a command: create a distraction. Kate is the easiest target. The public loves her, but that love is fragile. A sinister, meticulous plan takes shape to undermine Kate's standing with William and the public. Camilla knows that to protect her power, she must strike back and strike hard. On a misty Tuesday morning, London's skies are calm, but a media storm erupts. Tabloids from The Sun to Daily Mirror scream sensational headlines: "Kate Middleton tied to shady 2020 charity scandal." The stories weave a vague tale of murky financial dealings linked to a charity Kate once patronized. Dramatic details: funds funneled through offshore accounts, questionable business partners, and whispers that Kate used the charity to bolster personal influence dominate the narrative. Though lacking concrete evidence, relying on leaked documents and anonymous sources, the story ignites public frenzy. On social media, Kate's once ardent supporters begin to waver, while her detractors seize the moment. An ex-post reads, "Always knew Kate wasn't as pure as she seemed. Now it's out." Public opinion splits and pressure mounts on Kensington Palace. In their private Kensington apartment, Kate sits in an armchair, clutching her phone, displaying one of the articles. Her eyes are red, but she fights back tears. William stands by the fireplace, hands in his pockets, his back to her. The air between them is thick, an invisible wall rising. Finally, William breaks the silence, his voice low but laced with doubt. "Are you sure you're not tied to this, Kate? These stories, they don't come from nowhere." Kate reels as if slapped. She springs to her feet, her voice trembling with anger and hurt. "You think I'd do something to harm you? To harm us, William? I've spent my life protecting this family, protecting you." Tears threaten, but she turns away, hiding her vulnerability. Deep down, she knows Camilla orchestrated this, a calculated move to erode William's trust and public favor. But what wounds most isn't the headlines, it's the doubt in the eyes of the man she loves. William steps forward, placing a hand on her shoulder, but the gesture lacks its usual warmth. "I just need to be sure, Kate. My role now, It's not just about us. The whole country is watching. Kate shrugs off his hand, her eyes hardening. If you don't trust me, we have nothing left to say. She storms out, leaving William alone, the firelight casting shadows on his conflicted face. News of the scandal reaches Anne at Gatcombe Park. In her study, she skims the articles, her expression unshaken. A nervous young aide asks, "Ma'am, should we respond?" The public's turning on Kate. Anne's lips curl into a cold smile. Camilla's playing an old game. She says, her voice like distant thunder. She thinks she's clever, but she forgets I've seen these tricks since Diana's days. Kate isn't Diana, and I'm not easily fooled. Anne folds the paper, her eyes sharp. She knows Camilla is deflecting, weakening Kate to secure her own position. But Anne also knows Kate, though wounded, won't break. Let Camilla dig her own grave, Anne tells her aide. The more she attacks, the more she exposes herself. Inwardly, Anne begins plotting her next move, a move that will make Camilla pay. Rain falls gently over the fields surrounding Sandringham. Queen Elizabeth II's historic retreat in times of crisis. The ancient estate, its stone walls cloaked in moss, and heavy oak doors steeped in history, radiates timeless authority. In a secluded room shielded by thick velvet curtains, Anne convenes a covert meeting. The attendees are the crown's most trusted Kate, her face resolute despite traces of sleepless nights. Sir Edward, a veteran legal advisor who served Charles. Margaret, a financier who once managed the royal trust. And General Sir Robert Langley, a retired officer loyal to the king with deep ties to the royal military. The oak-paneled room is dimly lit by the fireplace and a few candles on the table. Anne rises, her posture rigid, her voice commanding. We don't need to destroy Camilla. We need to expose the truth and let the public decide. She places the photocopied letter from Charles on the table. His handwritten words a reminder of their duty. This letter is my brother's final wish. Camilla may hide it, but she can't hide the truth forever. Kate beside Sir Edward nods, though unease lingers. The media scandal, William's doubt, and public pressure weigh heavily. She knows the letter is powerful, but she senses something larger remains hidden, a secret. Even Charles may not have fully revealed. We must act fast, Kate says, her voice low but firm. Camilla's trying to undermine me, and if she succeeds, William will be isolated. Anne nods, her eyes glinting with approval. Exactly. But we need a precise strike, not a public brawl. She turns to Sir Edward. We'll leak the letter on the first anniversary of Charles's death. It'll be framed as an unpublished memoir of his. The public won't resist such a story. Sir Edward, his silver hair and gold-rimmed glasses, catching the candlelight, agrees. I suggest an American journalist, one close to Princess Diana. They'll have global credibility without seeming like a royal pawn. General Langley from the table's corner adds, his voice like thunder. I concur. But we need security. Camilla has spies everywhere, and she won't hesitate to retaliate. The plan is crafted with precision. The letter will be delivered to Sarah Mitchell, an American journalist who wrote a best-selling book on Diana. Sarah will present it as a chance discovery backed by verified handwriting analysis. To avoid traceability, the information will pass through an encrypted channel handled by a former MI6 operative in Langley's network. The release date, the one-year anniversary of Charles's death, will amplify its impact, turning the letter into a media bombshell. As the meeting ends, Kate rises, a weight lifted but not gone. Stepping into Sandringham's cold rain, a chilling premonition stirs. The letter is a weapon, but is it the whole truth? Charles, always 3 steps ahead, might have left something else a secret even Anne doesn't know. Kate pulls her coat tighter, her eyes resolute. Whatever lies ahead, she'll uncover the truth and defend the throne at all costs. On the first anniversary of King Charles III's death, England is draped in remembrance. Church bells toll, flags hang at half-mast, and television airs tributes to Charles's brief but impactful reign. But at 8 a.m., a media earthquake shakes the monarchy and the world. Major outlets from the Times to the New York Times blare electrifying headlines. King Charles' final secret fear of Camilla's betrayal. The article, penned by Sarah Mitchell, Diana's confidant, unveils Charles's handwritten letter with images of his trembling yet unmistakable script. Handwriting experts swiftly confirm it's the late king's authentic work. The letter's contents, warnings of Camilla's manipulation and doubts about William's leadership, spread like wildfire. On platforms like X hashtags, just shy Camilla betrayal, and Charles' letter dominates global trends. One user writes, Camilla fooled us for years. She's unfit to stand near the throne. Another is harsher. Charles knew she was a viper but kept her close. His biggest mistake. The British public reels not just from the letter's revelations, but from a sense of betrayal. Camilla, once despised, then grudgingly accepted, is now branded the traitor to the throne. At Clarence House, Camilla sits before a television, her hands gripping the chair's arms until her knuckles whiten. A news channel replays analysis of the letter zooming in on Charles's script. She switches to BBC hoping for neutrality, but even there pundits dissect every word. Camilla knows silence isn't an option. Under pressure from advisors, she agrees to a live ITV interview, a last-ditch effort to salvage her reputation. Under the studio's harsh lights, Camilla appears in a modest gray dress, her eyes red, but her demeanor composed. The veteran host shows no mercy. Can you address this letter, ma'am? King Charles clearly questioned your motives. Camilla takes a deep breath, her voice wavering but striving for sincerity. This is a cruel fabrication targeting my honor and the king's. Charles and I overcame so much together. He would never write such words. This is a plot to divide the royal family. But her denial rings hollow, unconvincing. The public, swept up in the letter's fervor, rejects her words. A post-interview poll shows 78% of viewers believe she's lying. At Kensington Palace, Kate watches the interview with mixed relief and apprehension. The letter has cornered Camilla as planned, but Kate knows the victory's cost. The public, while rallying behind her, is now questioning William. If Charles doubted his son, is William truly fit to rule? These questions, though unspoken, simmer in editorials and on social media. William, under pressure from advisors and public scrutiny, acts. In a carefully worded Buckingham Palace statement, he announces that Camilla will temporarily step back from honorary roles in the Royal Council and Royal Trust to focus on personal endeavors. The statement is diplomatic, but the message is clear. Camilla has been ousted from power. The public cheers, and Kate, the architect of the letter's release, is hailed as a symbol of resilience and truth. Articles dub her the People's Queen, a title Camilla never dared dream of. But the story isn't over. That night, as Kate sits in her Kensington office, her phone rings. A raspy, unfamiliar voice speaks. Your Majesty, I'm James, a former aide to King Charles. There's another letter, one he wrote for you. It never left Clarence House. Before Kate can ask more, the call ends. She sits frozen, her heart pounding. Another letter, and for her, a wave of dread rises as if Charles from beyond is still guiding her through the monarchy's maze. Rain pelts London streets as Kate drives to Clarence House. It's nearly midnight, and the palace is shrouded in darkness, with only faint lights from the corridors. She enters through a side door, her key from Charles's time still functional. The halls are empty, yet Kate feels watched. She hurries through the rooms, her heels clicking on the wooden floor, echoing her racing pulse. She stops at Charles's study, where she found the first letter. The door is locked, but Kate is prepared. From her clutch, she pulls a master key, a gift from a former royal security officer who vowed to always stand by her. The door opens with a soft click, and Kate steps inside. The room is unchanged: oak bookshelves, a cold fireplace, and Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, its stern gaze ever watchful. Kate kneels before the bookshelf, searching for a hidden compartment. James, the mysterious caller, gave no specifics, but her instincts point to a spot like the last. After minutes, she finds a small gap behind an old book on royal history. Pressing it, a tiny drawer pops open, revealing a wooden box etched with the royal crest, two golden lions entwined with a crown. Her heart races. She opens the box, finding an envelope addressed to her in Charles's familiar script. Another line chills her. If they turn against you, do not stay silent. With trembling hands, Kate opens the letter. The desk lamp illuminates Charles's words, each one cutting like a blade. Kate, you are the only one I trust to hold the throne steady when all else crumbles. Camilla is not the greatest enemy. The true enemy is doubt, the division within our hearts. If you read this, remember the throne belongs to no one unless they are willing to fight for it. I failed. Do not let William repeat my mistakes. Charles. Kate stands frozen, her breath trapped in her chest. The letter is more than advice, it's a warning and a burden. Charles didn't just distrust Camilla. He feared that internal divisions between William Kate and those around them would destroy his legacy. The true enemy is doubt. The words echo, forcing Kate to relive her confrontation with William, the wary glances in Buckingham's halls, and Camilla, who, though sidelined, hasn't truly vanished. Kate's expression shifts. From shock, her eyes harden, forged like steel. She folds the letter, slipping it into her coat pocket, where no one will find it. As she leaves the study, her silhouette fades behind a crimson velvet curtain, blending into Clarence House's shadows. A question looms not just in her heart, but in the palace's heavy air. What has Charles entrusted to Kate, and what will she do with it?